Hey YouTube, not so Slim Jim, coming with a new video. Yeah, it's been a little while since I put one out. Sorry, unfortunately, the holidays have been a little bit crazy, but I'm here now. And I want to bring you a video about something that many of you already know about, but may not know the details of it. I'm talking about a special little breed of weapon we call firearms. Now, you're probably going, hey Jim, I already know what a firearm is. I'm not stupid, but I'm talking about a very specific niche of firearms called other firearms. Not to be mistaken with any other firearms, which is an NFA specialty weapon that you got to pay a $2 tax stamp on, whatever. But any weapon that isn't defined as any other type of firearm. That's why it's called an other firearm or firearm other. Now, people already know about these because there's a few that are manufactured by major companies. Two of the most popular ones are the Mossberg Shockwave and the Fight Light SCR Raider. We know what I'm talking about, the little short ones with the weird grips on them that look kind of funky, but they are able to get away with having shorter barrels because they don't have a stock on it, and they got a little nylon grip for your second hand, so they're technically designed to be used with two hands. So I'm going to go over the basics, what you need to know to be able to build one of these yourself, and the benefits of having one. Now, first, you can't make these from an already existing firearm. You have to start with a virgin receiver. So you have to have a new AR receiver, new AK receiver, 1022, whatever. The cool part, though, is most companies out there have either from the manufacturer or aftermarkets that make new receivers for the Mossberg 500, 590, the Remington 870, the Ruger 1022, ARs, AKs, and there's an abundancy of aftermarket receivers you can buy to build your own custom firearm. So that's number one. Number two, it has to be designed to be fired with two hands. So you have to have some type of two-hand system set up to be able to fire it. Number three, it has to have no stock on it. Now, you can have a pistol brace. Those aren't considered stocks, but it has to have accumulation of all of these together for it to work properly. Three, it has to have a barrel length of a minimum of 12 inches. You can't have your little 3.5 inch 300 blackout. Unfortunately, you have to have 12 inches on it. That's what she said. And finally, you need to have an overall length of a minimum of 26 inches. So if you fit all of these things together, and it doesn't fit in any other category, you have yourself an other firearm. Now, the reason this is nice, let's start off with this guy right here. Some of you people may recognize this little worksheet the ATF put out about 5-6 months ago, trying to say, hey, we're trying to turn pretty much every AR and AK pistol into a short barrel rifle because F you, we're the AFT, we do what we want to. Biden. But if you look at section 1, there's two things that the firearm must have before you continue on in the section. First one is the weapon must weigh at least 64 ounces, and it must be between 12 and 26 inches in length. And there's a reason they put those on there. Because if it's over 26 inches in length, it most likely, or at least can be, considered to be an other firearm. And this equals nothing but paper you can wipe your ass with. That's right, ATF. Talking to you. I know you're watching this video. Hi, Greg. How's it going? So, if you can meet these conditions, then you can build a weapon that isn't an NFA, isn't a pistol, isn't a rifle, and does not include to any of the laws that pertain specifically to those categorizations of firearms. Now, let's take a look at what one of these look like. Now, this looks like it's a standard pistol, right? An AR pistol. Well, you're wrong. See, most people right now are going, oh my God, that guy's got an SBR. The ATF are going to be kicking his door and shooting his dog. No, because I did this properly. I started with a virgin lower receiver. I built the barrel, then attached it to the upper, then put the upper onto the lower. This is a 10.5 inch barrel that I put on a 2-inch ASR flash hider because I have suppressors. Silencer Cove, sponsor me, please. And do it. I love your stuff. I have a bunch of your stuff. Then I pinned and welded it, making this a one-piece barrel. So now moving it from 10.5 to 12.5 inches, which I checked the proper way from the bolt face. Attached it to the upper with a two-hand firing system because now it requires two hands to fire, a pistol brace, which is not a buttstock. So with the 12.5-inch barrel, a two-hand firing system, an overall length of over 30 inches, and a collapse length of 26.5 inches, this is not a pistol. It is an other firearm. And you can do that with any caliber. It doesn't matter if it shoots a 22, a 50 caliber, a shotgun shell. That has no determination whatsoever when you're talking about these other firearms, only the portions of which I told you. And let's say here in Texas, if I want to open carry or I want to have whatever, a truck gun, and I want to have one of these somewhat in the open, I don't have to worry about the restrictions of it falling into the pistol category and having to have it in a holster if I want to have it open in my vehicle while driving wherever or during a natural emergency, whatever situation it may be, because it's not a pistol, so it doesn't fall underneath pistol laws. I can carry it without restriction because there is no definition of it. Also, if you're under the age of 21, you can carry this without having to have a, license to carry till recently, or have to worry about the laws about constitutional carry because it's not a pistol. Same thing in many states. You look at the Kenosha kid in his trial where they're trying to figure out whether or not the weapon he used was illegal in a short barrel rifle or not, because this falls underneath federal definition, federal supremacy, which means that goes over state law, would say this is an other firearm. At the time, there was no requirement for age to carry. 16 and older can carry certain weapons, which would fall underneath this, and it would be perfectly legal. Now, every state's going to differ, and I don't know every state's law on them, but for the most part, almost every state that I know of does not have any definitions for this specific weapon. Now, they do have definitions for firearms, which you have to pay to that, but nothing for other firearms. So it gives you a lot of leeway for your state laws. Now, if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns about this, feel free to leave it down in the comments section, and I'll answer your questions as soon as I can.